Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're doing another Swiss draft, Dragons of Tarkir, Fate Reforged. We open Sunscorched Regent again, so guess we're opening it and playing it again, right? Probably Sandcrafter Mage. Pummeler's a very strong card, but it's certainly stronger than Sandcrafter Mage, but it also doesn't motivate me to necessarily want to just slam into a second color. I could speculatively just take the Great Teacher's Decree. It's like a white overrun for 2 turns. It's pretty good. Maybe I do take Great Teacher's Decree. It's also uncommon. Sandcrafter Mage is common. All right. I guess I convinced myself. And there's nothing else that's like crazy good in here. I definitely think a Tarka Pummeler is the best card in this pack, but it's not better enough than Great Teacher's Decree and Sandcrafter Mage that makes me necessarily want to bypass these picks for a better card in a different color. I would prefer to just sort of see what's open over the next couple packs. Gleam of Authority, rare pickup here that seems pretty good. I've played with it before, I've played against it. I think it's a good card. There's also Mist of Kirin, which I do like. Champion of Erishin is fine. I actually haven't played with this card yet, interestingly enough, but best cards in the pack, probably the Gleam of Authority. I've seen this card in action. It's pretty strong. Seismic Rupture and Twin Bolt are also very good. Beastbreaker is of course good. Anticipate I like. So plenty of good picks in here, but we'll go with the. I'll bite on the cool rare. All right, this is pretty interesting. Very interesting. Dramoka Captain is a fine card. Um, it's actually pretty cool with Gleam of Authority too. You get to attack bolster plus use this bolster, so it's like 2 bolsters. There's also Sandcrafter Mage. What are the problems with Dramoka Captain? There's not really that many problems with Dramoka Captain, except for the fact that it's a 3-mana 1/1. It does have First Strike, though. There's also, I guess, Center Soul in here. So really, I guess, in my opinion, it's just Dramoka Captain versus Sandcrafter Mage. I probably will just go with the Captain. I think Captain is good enough. Mage might actually be better than Captain, but I haven't given Captain a ton of tries, so I'm at least willing to try it out. I don't even know if I have played with it yet. Whenever I start a draft, my cats immediately want to just start beating the crap out of each other, and I don't get why. It's like they know I'm doing it. They know I'm recording, so they want to as loudly fight in the background as they possibly can. I think we're just taking Charger here, staying on color. There's really just nothing that motivates me to want to take a separate color. I think the next strongest pick is probably Marsh Hulk. I think River Skeleton is fine and playable. Kindled Fury is actually pretty good, but we'll take the Charger. I like the Charger. Okay, so we can take Center Soul, which I'm fine with. There's also Sunbringer's Touch, which looks like a reasonable deck for it. Gleam of Authority, Dramoka Captain, Sunscorched Regent, and Sandstorm Charger. We already have 4 out of our 5 picks are cards that have +1/+1 counters on it. But, I mean, this just gives them trample. It's not to say that's so insane. I think we're probably just taking Center Soul. It's a pretty late Sabertooth Outrider. It could be we're just supposed to be red-white, which I guess I'm okay with. But I actually like Center Soul. I don't think it's a great card by any means, but it's certainly a playable card. All right, I think, wow. All right, well, that's pretty interesting. Okay, that late of a Sarkhan's Rage pretty much just makes me want to be in red. If we're seeing, yeah, I would say 7th pick Sarkhan's Rage is probably a sign. We could retain on color and take like a Herald of Dramoka, which would actually be fine, but I'm just going to slam a Sarkhan's Rage here. 7th pick Sarkhan's Rage I think is a pretty solid sign that red is open. Okay, now I think I'm just slamming Dramoka Warrior. Nothing else of too much interest in here. Volcanic Rush is fine, but we already have a Great Teacher's Decree, so just slamming Dramoka Warrior pretty happily. Okay. Do I want to take a second Dramoka Captain? I'm probably okay with that. They are 3-mana 1/1s when all's said and done, but I don't know if I'm going to have space for like Center Soul, Gleam of Authority, Great Teacher's Decree, and Echoes of the Kin Tree, and Sarkhan's Rage. Like, if I really want to make this Great Teacher's Decree work, which I do, I want a pretty high creature count. So let's take a second captain. I think I'm okay with that. Okay, here's kind of a miss, so we're just going to take the best card, which I think is the Butcher, since it's a removal spell. All right, Lose Calm is a fine pickup here. Not the greatest interaction with some of what we've got going on here, but it's fine. It's a strong effect. Otherwise, I take a Spider Silk Nut, and I think, especially since I look like I can be reasonably aggressive, I'll probably just take the Loose Calm. All right, Custodian of the Trove is a fine. It's not a card for this deck necessarily, but if this deck doesn't pan out the way I want it to, I wouldn't mind having a Custodian of the Trove. All right, Ancestral Statue seems at least playable. It's a pretty late duress too, but I guess we can take Statue. I don't think we're likely to play it. All right, so started pretty strong white, got a late Sarkhan's Rage, which kind of to me was an indication that red was open. 7th pick Sarkhan's Rage, I would say, is fairly unusual. Wow, Berserker's Onslaught. Well, that's a pretty strong card. The next closest, honestly, is Enduring Victory. So I would say if we were going to branch into red, Berserker's Onslaught's a pretty good reason to do that. Dramoka Warrior with Double Strike is insane. Well, obviously any creature with Double Strike is good, but certainly the high power, low toughness creatures are benefiting the most from the Berserker's Onslaught here. So yeah, I'm fine taking that. Perfectly good first pick. All right, follow up. We've got Dragon Fodder, which works well with Great Teacher's Decree. Works, I guess, okay with Dramoka Captains, but not that insane. There's also Twin Bolt, though, which is straight up removal. The main issue with picking the removal here is Dragon Fodder is going to synergistically work better with Great Teacher's Decree. But I still think I'd probably go Twin Bolt because you get the build. You have a chance at 2-for-1 for 2 mana at instant speed, which is pretty insane. Twin Bolt getting the 2-for-1 at any point. A common that can 2-for-1 for 2 mana at instant speed is very impressive. So despite the fact that Dragon Fodder works better with our Great Teacher's Decree, I'm just going to take the vacuum better pick in Twin Bolt here. I do think the Strong Arm Monk is pretty good too. All right, well, Roast is a gift, so we'll certainly take that. Very nice removal spell. And nothing else really close otherwise. Glaring Aegis, but that's another card that's, we're starting, if we're taking this removal especially, we're starting to make cards like Great Teacher's Decree look a lot weaker in our deck. Because it's just very difficult to balance creatures, tricks, and then spells like Great Teacher's Decree that are like, really want you to run a lot of creatures. Okay. Artful Maneuver is certainly good, but I may just want a second Sandstorm Charger. There's also a Radiant Purge, but card never really excites me that much. It probably wheels. There's also Tormenting Voice. I think it's Artful Maneuver versus Sandstorm Charger, and just based on the sheer quantity of non-creature spells I already have, I think I'm just going to go with Sandstorm Charger number 2, which is fine. Okay. We've got Kindled Fury here. I think we're just going to slam that. Yeah, not much else for us here. Fairly late flattened pick, but a bit too late to stray away from what we're doing here. I think there's a pretty high chance we're not playing Great Teacher's Decree in this deck. All right, Herald of Dramoka is a fine pickup. We're certainly in need of some cheap creatures. I could take the Student of Ojutai as well. Maybe that fits Curve slightly better. We certainly have plenty of cards for it. I was hoping, if I'm red-white, I typically want to be beat down, but I guess I already have a couple Sandstorm Chargers. Dramoka Captains definitely motivate you to want to be beat down, though. I think, right? Or do they not? Are they just, like, not that good in general? I don't know. It's also Scale Blessing, I guess, which is worthy of mentioning, but not the pick. I think we're probably just going to take Herald of Dramoka. I feel like I'm going to be able to find more expensive stuff later. It's harder to find your nice 2-drops. Tail Slash is certainly worthy of a pick here. There's also Enduring Victory. Bolster is good. I think I'd prefer the Tail Slash. Well, we are a little bit short on creatures. I could see us having some difficulty getting the Tail Slash, but then again, Enduring Victory is kind of expensive. Tail Slash works better with an aggressive deck. I'm going to go Tail Slash. Enduring Victory would be a fine pickup there too. All right, we'll take the Student now. It's a pretty late Assault formation, which is certainly a good card, but we'll take the Student. Could be we just don't get to play as beatdown as we want. We still have some high value spells in here, so playing more of like a mid-rangey white-red might be what we have to like audible into. I guess there is a Storm Rider rig, but we're like 5 playables from a deck, so I think I'll probably just hate something here. Probably the Beast Breaker, which is a pretty good green card. Wow. Tread Upon and Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds for a splash is an option. Otherwise, I take the Aven Tactician, which I think is fine. I guess we're a little bit creature light, and Aven Tactician's a pretty solid one. It's not insane. I've cut it a few times, but I think it's a fine pick here. All right, maybe I take the Sentry for sideboard. No, I think we probably hate a Bowmaster, which is pretty good there. All right, we did table Radiant Purge and Artful Maneuver. I don't think Artful Maneuver is going to make it into this deck. Despite being good, we've got too much other removal and tricks going on, so I think I'll take the Purge for the sideboard. Could need that against some, big dragons. Big multicolored dragons. All right, we'll take Vandalize, I guess, for sideboard. Guardian Shieldbearer, so some pretty late green picks. I'm not sure what the colors are. That time around, it definitely felt like we were getting cut in, I guess, red. But it's not like the red. I mean, we got good red picks, but it still kind of felt like we were getting cut in red. Wow. Master of the Unseen is pretty insane. I think at that point, I just sort of, all right, I go into mid-range mode, which I'm fine with. There's also a Bathe in Dragonfire, which is a really good card. But I think we just got to slam Master of the Unseen here. It's actually just an insane card in general, but certainly good with Great Teacher's Decree, which I'm not even... I think at this point, Lose Calm's like a sideboard thing I want to do. And maybe the Center Souls, just not enough creatures to support Center Soul. I could keep that in if I'm short on playables, but I feel like I'm probably going to more likely find upgrades. Let's take the Mastery for sure, though. All right, Elite Scale Guard is an amazing pass. So, wow, Palace Siege is strong, too. But, yeah, I mean, we certainly slam Elite Scale Guard. It's a very, very strong card. Hope to wield the Soul Summons or the Dragon Bell Monk. We're probably good on 5-drops at this point. Okay. I think we slam Bathe in Dragonfire. We're actually starting to get to the point where I don't think Great Teacher's Decree makes it in. I'd probably just rather run the Berserker's Onslaught. Although I guess there's a solid argument for maybe the Decree being better than the Onslaught. Because it is attacking creatures only, and we're more of a mid-range, not less aggressive deck. Regardless, the Bathe in Dragonfire is the pick here for sure. Okay, Heel Cutter is a fine, certainly a good pickup. So I'm happy to, yeah, I mean, not much discussion otherwise. Pretty easy Heel Cutter pickup, which works well with our Dramoka captains, so that's kind of nice. Certainly an interesting deck we've got going on here. We really need some more creatures. We'd like some more creatures at the very least. Kind of a miss here, unfortunately. Teamer Battle Rage, we really don't have a lot of means of getting Ferocious. We have a couple, but not a lot. But there's also Pressure Point, which is more of a tempo card, not really what I'm looking for either. I guess Pressure Point's more likely. We're more likely to play the Pressure Point. I mean, there's also Mardu Rune Mark, but I don't think this is a deck for it. I guess I'll take Pressure Point. So I'd like at least a couple more creatures. We're very creature light at the moment, which really means almost Great Teacher's Decree and Berserker's Onslaught may not make the cut. And we even sadly may have to play the Ancestral Statue, which I would prefer to not do. Although it does have interesting synergies with Mastery of the Unseen. Alright, at least we get a good pick here. So I think we're just going to slam Dragon Bell Monk. It's on curve. It's a nice cheap spell, so okay. Fine with that. Humble Defector is a very nice pickup. Oh, never mind. Well, we're going to take Bathe over it, despite the fact that we would like creatures. I think at this point I can cut Onslaught or Decree. We have a lot of 5-drops, so I'm more tempted to cut Onslaught. But I can think about that in a little bit. I'm not going to take a Defector over a Dragonfire, despite the fact that we're a creature light. All right, Goreswine is... There's also Warflare, which is very good, but it's very good, and I mean, it certainly would be playable in this deck, but my issue is, like I said, we're already creature light trick heavy. I don't think this is a Warflare pick, unfortunately. We're just going to slam this Goreswine, which at least works well with our Tail Slash. This may actually just be a Skirmisher deck at this point, just because I'm that creature light. I'm not thrilled about it, but I guess it works reasonably well with Captain sometimes. Pretty tempted to cut the Onslaught at this point. Maybe I don't necessarily play the Skirmisher. There's also Barricade too, which is fine, but I think I'm going to take the Skirmisher. I'll play it if I need it. Fierce Invocation, another 5-drop, but I am creature light. It's a late angler. Very late angler. I'm going to... think I'm taking Invocation here. Just in case I need that. Alright, Great Horn Crew Shock, not terribly exciting. Alright, I guess I hate the Kinguard, which might be the best card in that pack. Ethereal Ambush might be the best in this pack. Guess we'll hate that. Rune Mark, I think Ruthless Instincts, we're just going to hate that because I don't think we're playing Rune Mark as is. Grim Contest is a pretty strong card. Last pick, Ethereal Ambush. Okay. Well, what can I say about this deck? So we're creature light, which is typically a problem, but our removal looks good, which makes me a little bit more okay with it. Cards I think we're going to have issues playing are like Gleam of Authority. Although, maybe that's more argument for playing Ancestral Statue. What are cards I can bounce that I wouldn't mind bouncing? I guess our 2-drops. I mean, it's only, what, 4 mana, 3/4? It's not even that good. Is there any value pickups? Not really. We really don't have any value pickups. We have just an absolute ton of 5-drops, but keep in mind a couple of them are morphs, so I'll put them in their spot. The Skirmisher is like a 1-drop option I have with Evasion just to get our creature count up slightly. I also have the Fierce Invocation as another 5-drop. I think because I'm so creature light, I'm going to cut the Onslaught. I don't like the idea of Onslaught in this deck with being so creature light. But then again, maybe I just cut a couple combat tricks. Like I can cut... I think I actually do probably cut Kindled Fury in this deck. If I want some high upside cards like Great Teacher's Decree and Onslaught, if I want to reasonably keep them, I probably just cut a combat trick. We are still creature light though. We did not table Soul Summons. We did table Dragon Bell Monk though, which is fine. That's good. I kind of want to bring in Skirmisher somehow. I don't think I can get away with 16 lands really in this deck. I probably could, but I I've got some actual mana sinks with some Megamorphs. Well, I don't have any card draw per se. Would I want to cut? I kind of want another creature in here. I want at least 14. 13 does seem very light with Great Teacher's Decree and Berserker's Onslaught. The reason I'm more tempted to cut the Onslaught is because it doesn't have Rebound, but that doesn't matter. It has permanent effect. I think it's because I already have quite a few 5-drops. But I guess I probably go with the rare over the uncommon there. It just doesn't strike me as a deck that can reasonably play Great Teacher's Decree. Like, Berserker's Onslaught is one of those cards that can win out of nowhere. Even if you're super far behind, if you have enough creatures on board, stick an Onslaught and all your guys have double strike, you can really do a lot of work that way. But then I'm gonna definitely want to bring in another creature. And I think it's Fierce Invocation, although I'm not thrilled about that. Playing 17 lands with 6 5-drops. I mean, I would play 17 lands even if I had like 4 5-drops, 2 6-drops. So even though I've got 6 5-drops, I still think that's okay. A bit clunky. But I think I'm running the deck like this. It's 14 creatures with Fierce Invocation, which is admittedly still creature light, but we have good removal. And Master of the Unseen is kind of like a creature. I see your argument that it's not because you have to put mana into it, but I still probably consider it a creature, I guess. All right, I think this deck's reasonable. I don't think it's fantastic. I'm a little bit creature light, like I said, but we do have some good removal. Roast, Twin Bolt, Double Bathe, and Dragonfire, Tail Slash is pretty nice, and Sarkhan's Rage. But yeah, still a bit creature light. I think this deck's okay. I don't know how highly I can rate it, just because I'm a little bit concerned about our early plays. But I think it's a reasonable deck. I think we're probably going to do an even split on lands. They, of course, want to err towards white, which I agree with. Because of our 2-drop, we just have more white 2-drops than red ones. Overall, I can't really comfortably rate this deck higher than about 6.5. I'm going to give it 6.5. We have good removal. We have good finishers. We are just creature light enough where I'm uncomfortable with some things, but I think 6.5 seems like a reasonable. I think the speculative cards are like Dromoka Captains. They concern me because I haven't played against them or with them very much, and they seem a bit underwhelming, but with the sheer quantity of removal we have, they could pan out to be pretty good. So I gotta give them a try. Nothing else really to be said. I'm kind of disappointed we don't get to play the Great Teacher's Decree, but I do think Onslaught is likely stronger. Even in a fairly creature light deck, I think Onslaught just has some big upsides to it. And I don't think I really want Skirmisher. So, all right, running the deck like this, 6.5 out of 10. Not much else to say. We'll see you round 1.